Red hair whips in the wind as a young woman walks around the large, foggy grounds of her home. She and her husband have been living here for a short period of time, yet they still have to finish unpacking their belongings that were brought all the way here from Salem's Valley. Natalia, smiling ever so humbly, wanders over to the unusual garden. Her long, skinny fingers gently touch the tips of each rose that she passes. It is truly an odd scene for these flowers to still be blooming when it's the middle of December. The garden, as strange and beautiful as it is, should have long since died, for the winter has arrived, yet somehow it remains, as if it's specifically there for the young woman. Thunder booms loudly overhead as lightning flashes in the sky. Thick droplets of rain begin to fall upon the rose petals, causing her to quickly retreat into the safety of her Victorian-styled house. Her black shoes land on the glossy marbled floor as she shuts the back patio doors behind her. Natalia walks through the hallway. An elegant gold-plated chandelier hangs from the ceiling. She continues to walk through the marvelous place until she reaches the study where she sees her husband standing in front of the window with his arms politely being held behind his back. He must have been watching her short-lived endeavor around the grounds. His gaze remains focused on the window and what the watery world outside of these walls has to offer. "How is your walk?" Patrick questions. "It was enjoyable until the storm started." Natalia sighs. "It's been 2 weeks, Pat. When do you think the rain will let up?" "I'm not sure, honey." "Well, I need to finish unpacking anyhow." Natalia shrugs. Patrick turns around just in time to see his wife walk out of the study room, red hair flowing behind her. He frowns in her newfound absence, saddened by the lack of communication they had been having the past 6 months. He desperately wants to sit her down on the black fabric couch and talk about the reason why they moved here. Patrick has been calling his wants wishful thinking for a while now, as he had nothing else that could be done in order to try and get her attention, to get her to interact with him more than what he had just had. The toughest thing on a marriage can be the lack of communication. He didn't want that. He only wanted things to return to normal, but that's what they'll never be again. Normal. Patrick lets out a heavy, defeated sigh as he bends down and begins to unpack the box sitting at his feet. His pale fingers tightly grip the edge of the dark brown and damp-colored box as he prepares to cut through the tape in which sealed its contents. He grabs the silver box cutter sitting on a nearby end table. He places the blade on the flimsy, transparent packing tape and presses down. The tape makes a popping noise before it is peeled off the box, making the most unsettling of noises. He cringes upon the sound, yet proceeds to lift back the 4 flat tops of the box to see a dusty, old, cobweb-riddled wooden chest sitting inside. The rusty, golden, pinkish-colored pieces remind him of a small music box that his sister had when she was just a child, the very one that he is now in possession of. The chest is carefully taken out of the damp box and placed upon the end table. The rusted hinges creak as the lid is slowly lifted. A force field-like circle of pink light ripples through the room. The impact from the strange light hitting Patrick sends him falling to the floor with a hard thud. He stares at the swirling light from behind his glasses, the pink glow hovering in front of him. He listens to the weird humming before the outlined glow shoots upward, disappearing into the ceiling. The man stares at the ceiling with wide eyes. The exact spot where the weird light vanished has returned to its normal color, a light beige. Patrick slowly pulls himself to his feet. He hesitantly approaches the chest once more. The pink color still illuminates from inside the wooden discovery. He peers over the top of the box, his eyes widening once more as his chest tightens. Tears roll down Patrick's face as he places his hands into the chest and picks up the items that are laying there. The soft fabric of the blue shirt resting between his fingers. Blood splatter covering the entirety of the item causes his head to hurt. He places his left hand on the back of his head, fingers gently pressing at the spot that's aching. The shirt seems familiar to him, yet somehow he isn't sure how or why. But he knows it. He tosses the blood-covered shirt back into the chest, gently shuts the lid so as to not break the wooden box, before placing it back into the cardboard from whence it was found. There's something about this situation that doesn't feel right to Patrick. He shakes his head as if to get rid of whatever thoughts were floating around in his mind. Yet the only thing he can think to do is grab the roll of packing tape laying on the floor. He tapes the box shut, picks it up from the floor, and carries it down the hallway to one of the closets that he had passed by a few times earlier in the day. Patrick places the cardboard box onto the top shelf, drapes an old and tattered blanket over it before shutting the door. An exasperated sigh escapes his lips as he leans against the wall opposite the closet and rubs his tired eyes. Pink light. He chuckles. I've been up for way too long. Patrick glances towards his right to see the sky has long since darkened. All light of the day no longer visible as the moonlight shines through the beautiful stained glass on the front door. Patrick walks along the lower level of the house, shutting out all of the lights. He tiredly climbs the staircase and walks down the hallway to the master bedroom. Natalia is lightly snoring when she enters the room. The door quietly shuts behind them as he quickly sheds his dust-covered clothes. Patrick crawls onto the plush, inviting mattress. He nestles deep underneath the soft duvet, drapes his right arm over Natalia, and drifts into a peaceful sleep, not more than a moment after his head hits the pillow.